episode number 12 of The Edge from March 11th, 2014. I'm Sean Clark, and welcome. Tonight's episode, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff. New dev water cooler crap has come out. Apparently that's a thing now. Boosted 90s live. We haven't done that yet. We got some information on that, but first, you know her as the co-host of this show, also contributing editor and author at Blues Pro, Miss Alexandra Merling. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. That's good. Also, you might have noticed another person on the show as well. A couple episodes ago, I mentioned we were adding a third co-host. We're looking around, see if we can find something. And I think we finally found him. You may have known him for a contributing author for WoW Insider for 6 years, his own World of Warcraft blog, The World of Maticus, Mr. Matt Lowe. Welcome to the show.
I'm actually secretly the red Eminem. You didn't know that?
So the shirt, the red shirt.
I'm here now.
There you go. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So what's up, man? Talk a little bit. Tell us the things, all the things we need to know.
The things you need to know. Well, man, you're putting me in the hot seat already, like less than 10 seconds into the show.
Dude, we don't mess around.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so I'll give you some quick news about me. I run a 25-man heroic guild. I've written about WoW for a long time. Played since 2005? Late 4? Something like that. Did nothing but healing for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 or 7 of those years. Played Shadow for the first time regularly this expansion. Got demoted, promoted back to healing. I guess I didn't make the cut.
Demoted?
So, yeah. I'm currently the GM of my own little tiny 25-man heroic guild. We have wiped the heroic Malkarak, but managed to kill him. We will be wiping again on spoils later today, and I expect to kill that as well, before we will end up wiping on Thok. So, that's kind of where we're at the moment.
Cool.
It's going to be very stressful for me, actually.
A lot of wiping.
Yeah, lots of wiping.
A lot of death.
This takes time. And if you don't get
Got my Hearthsteed? Huh? Hearthsteed?
Oh.
Sexy.
I am unfortunately in Europe, so we haven't had the update yet.
Oh, you're going to have to wait. Yeah.
Well,
I have to wait like a few hours.
It's already been released, and it is what it is.
I know. I want that mount. I haven't played my Hearthstone since December, I think, so I'm going to have to fire up that account again.
Yeah, I haven't played Hearthstone in a long time, actually.
Look at my aggro mage deck with 2 Pyroblasts that are now nerfed to the ground.
Oh. Powerful.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about a couple different things tonight. One of the first things we're going to talk about is the Boosted 90 that Blizzard has just been going live with, and if you guys don't know what that's all about, there's 2 ways to get the Boosted 90. One of them is a pre-order for Warlords of Draenor, which you can now do if you head over to worldofwarcraft.com. I'm sure you can do it in the shop and all that other type of stuff as well. For $49.90, is it $95 or $99? You can get Warlords, and you also get the free Boosted 90. Now you can also boost your character for $60 at any time for any character that you want, which is actually kind of a pretty cool thing. A lot of people obviously are up in arms about it because they said the Cataclysm thing now is a waste, why they spend so much time residing in the world, you just kind of skip it. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Here are the basics. $60, you start with 483 eye level gear, you start at the shrine, and you're ready to go. Something to keep in mind, if you have a 60 plus character and you do the upgrade, you do get 600 professions and first aid, which is really nice. If you start a new character and you do not have that, then the professions will be assigned to you through Blizzard based off of your armor specialization. So, thoughts? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think it's a I'm a little bit torn, but I think it's a good way of being able to play with your friends and stuff like that. I mean, on my European account, I have almost all characters above 85. So,
Seems like kind of a waste for you then.
Well, I still have, I could boost a warrior or a warlock. Those are the only 2 I don't have at, above 85.
Right.
So I guess warrior maybe. I'm not sure I will get along with a warlock, but on my US account where I don't have, I only have leather heirlooms for healing. It's kind of not that great. So could be nice to boost the character there so I can quickly play with people there that I know rather than having to grind out 90 more levels yet again. I think I've paid my dues like many times over by now.
Well, it's important to know that you can use the boost immediately. So I mean, this is something that they're trying to draw back in people again. I mean, they are down in numbers. I think the last time was what 8 million, close to 8 million,
7.8.
Okay, so I mean, they are down a couple million. Okay, but this is the time
from its peak.
Exactly, they're trying to bring people back. So they're saying, okay, how can we bring people back? Well, if you saw the short video that they put together, you can see how the guy gets the mail, it's a raid party, and he can't go because he's only level 61, and that's kind of what they're targeting is these bringing people in, and this is something we've been doing for a long time. But what do you think, Matt? Like, what do you think of this 90 boost, and how do you think it will affect you, maybe your guild, or maybe some friends that haven't played in a long time?
And you get a 90, and you get a 90, and you get a 90. For me, I'm going to use one of my boosts on my warlocks. I'm actually thinking about getting another one, dropping $60 on one, because there's an achievement in the game where you have to level, I think, all of your professions.
Right.
The one I'm missing that I don't have maxed out is the leatherworking skinning one, because I don't really have anything that uses those. So what I might do is whip out a Death Knight, which is at 55, and just play through the introduction stuff, get to 60, learn leatherworking, learn skinning,
and boost.
Get myself an awesome 90 Death Knight along with the 2 awesome professions that come with it. So that's my plan.
And you get an achievement.
Yes, and I get the achievement, and I get a Death Knight, and the other boost might be used on like a Warlock or a Warrior or something. Probably a Warlock. Let's be real. Warlocks are... they're pretty powerful no matter what expansion they're in. You just can't go wrong playing a Warlock.
So where do you think this is going to go from here? Like, and I guess this question, for both of you, do you think this is a short-term fix or a long-term fix for Blizzard's population problem, which has been an issue for them over the past couple of years?
I want to say long-term, actually, because I know if you kind of look at the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of people that never hit level 90, that never get the opportunity to play with their friends because they're like, wow, I got to grind through 90 levels just to play the real game with my buddy, this Uber Raider or whatever. They get to level 10 or level 20 and they just give up because it looks like it's a huge, it's like climbing a huge mountain or something like that. So they never get around to really finishing it. And even though Blizzard's, throughout the years has made changes to the leveling system and made it much more easier, much more quicker, there's still a lot of people who find that intimidating. Like 90 levels is a lot.
It is.
Right?
And not to mention that they're adding another 10.
Yes, exactly.
And I mean, if you don't have any heirlooms as well, it's kind of okay to level 20 and then up to 40, and then it really starts to kind of, you start to feel it getting slower and slower. Do
you think this is a good long-term fix?
I think it could be because, I mean, I assume that they are planning a couple of more expansions.
At least 2 more.
Yeah, I'd say so. And, maybe add 5 to 10 level to each. And all of a sudden we're sitting there like at level 130 or something. It's just like, okay, a boost to level 90 might not be so bad.
I think I think it's good and bad in both regards. I think that it's great that you can invite people that haven't played maybe in a long time since BC or Wrath and say, hey, great, come right in, join us, let's do some LFR, or let's do some whatever to get you geared, because you do start off with enough gear to go to Throat of Thunder. Of course, you can go to the Timeless Isle and get your other gear there as well if you need. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's going to add a certain level of frustration to the game as well, especially now. People are going to be playing classes they're not familiar with. They're going to be playing them at an end game level with LFR, with PvP. Certain people are going to benefit from this, and certain people I feel like are going to get a little bit frustrated. People in PvP, for example, that PvP a lot, that have great gear, are going to go in and just be throwing people around and going to be having the greatest time in the world. So
they're going to feast on them pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but think about that as a new player. You're coming in and you're thinking, oh great, I got a 90, I'm ready to go, let's go PvP, and you just get crushed. Is that good for the player base to say, okay, well, here's your free stuff, now go get spanked around a little bit. I mean, it's almost like a disservice to them in a way.
I mean, my solution to that would be don't pick a PvP server.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it can be
just
that. Yeah, it can be that simple, I guess. But what if that's what your friends play on?
Well, then you
Yeah.
better get your friends to back you up,
Yeah.
right?
exactly. Like it's just like, hey guys, I've come to play with you. Now, have my back, please, while I'm,
Like I said, I think it's great.
getting killed by a giant snake on the Isle of
Like I
Timeless
said,
Isle.
I think it can be good and bad. I think that overall it would be good for Blizzard. I think this is a smart move by them. We were always wondering, especially people who've been playing the game for a long period of time, have always wondered when are they going to do it? When are they finally going to make it so you can just buy the stuff, And now the time has come. I mean, it's been almost been 10 years. The game is starting to show its age, and they finally have, quote unquote, sold out. In my opinion. I think that,
Oh, my
like I
goodness.
said, I don't think it's totally a bad thing either. Am I personally going to be using the boost? Yes, of course I am. Does it entice me to want to use that $60 to boost other characters that I may not even play? Of course it does. It's the same thing with Hearthstone. They entice you to spend that money, and you do it. So it's a good business move by Blizzard. I think that I play all their games. I support Blizzard. I don't have the problem forking over the money. But it's going to be interesting to see how the community reacts to this kind of thing over the next couple of weeks versus PvP, and all that kind of stuff. So, any last thoughts on that before we move on?
I guess, when it became known that the boost was going to cost $60,
That was a thing.
or
Yeah.
I think it's €50 here. I can't remember.
A lot of people thought it was fair for $50 US, not 60.
Yes, personally, I think it's too much to pay for a boost.
It's a
I'm
lot.
not saying that I wouldn't do it, but it's so much money in comparison to like what the whole game costs. On the other hand, I kind of understand what they tweeted out, about not wanting to devalue the leveling experience. If you're gonna skip all that leveling, all that content, you better be ready to pay for it. Because it's a valuable kind of experience.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, that's why your characters, you have emotional attachments to your mains. I mean, these are things
It's true.
It's hard to get rid of
Mhm.
those. I mean, the whole point of playing this game is to be social. You're playing
Yeah.
with friends, you're experiencing things together, and you're taking that completely away. So I don't know. We'll see. Matt, do you have any final thoughts on that?
I just can't wait to use my boost on maybe an opposite fashion character so I can gank my guild.
Well, there you go.
That's what I'll do.
You're always late for raids. Die.
That's one actually good way to look at it. Plus, you can get the double agent achievement
Yeah,
if you don't have that
yeah.
yet. So the next thing I want to talk about is the dev water cooler, the new dev water cooler article that came out. It's gonna be talking about player health, resilience, player like how they want players to be from 100% health to 0% health instantly, burst damage, instant heals, all this type of stuff. So I'm gonna have I'll have Alex start this off because I know for you guys that don't know this, I'm not a huge healer. Matt and Alex are both pretty well versed in healing, so these guys will be taking a majority of the hits on this. But I'll chime in when and if I can and not sound like a complete idiot. So
You always sound like a complete idiot. It's fine.
I said I'll try not to sound like
I'm
a
new
complete
here. I
idiot.
can't make that remark
See,
yet. So.
that's right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Two to one, Alex.
You can be the
Indifference
diplomat
favors me.
tonight. Next week, I expect you to be on my side.
Done.
Okay, well, we can start off by talking a little bit about player health and resilience. The dev water cooler that came out prior to this one was talking a lot about CC and how they are trying to cut back on the crowd control basically, and this is just like an extension of this. Especially with the instant heals, that they are cutting down on the instant heals. They're not removing them entirely, but a lot of your spells are going to get a cast time now. So yeah.
A moment of silence, please.
Yes.
They're putting the skill back in healing.
Skills. and also for just the high amount of resilience and battle fatigue is just make people feel very weak in PvP. So to reduce like the dependence on resilience and such, they are increase the player survivability against other players, and what they're doing is just doubling their health. But in order to not make players, become overpowered out in the world, they are also increasing like the damage and health for creatures, and also they're reducing crits, so PvP spike damage will be a lot lower.
So basically, what they're doing is they're like, here, you're gonna hit less, but you're gonna have more health.
Yeah.
It's less bursty, pretty much.
And I like that.
Yes.
It's a big
less
problem.
Bursty and less instant cost heals, and CC.
And it's kind of ironic that they would do this right after they do the 90 boost, where people don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
Weird. Now suddenly you have a giant health pool and people can't hit you very hard. Funny how that works.
You're such a conspiracy
But
theorist.
it makes sense, right? I mean, it makes
well,
sense, of course. Here, stay alive longer and learn how to play your class. Get saved by the guy that's good.
I'm sure the people that have boosted their characters now will have learned to play their class by the time these changes come into effect.
I think this is a great change. I think that the extra stamina, low damage, and actually putting a lot of stress on your healers to make those critical decisions, I think is going to help, especially in arenas. It's going to help in world PvP, and I think that the changes that's going to make the PvE is really going to be minimal at best. So I'm excited. I mean, I know, Matt, did you play the Warlords beta when you went to BlizzCon?
Yeah, I did the starting zone, whatever it was with the dungeon and then the couple of quests and all that stuff. So it was kind of strange to go from 500,000 health to 30,000 or whatever the heck it was.
But it didn't feel
being back in Wrath.
But it didn't feel different though.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like whoa. It just it's just different. It's hard to describe, I guess.
I know what you're saying, but it didn't feel that different because I managed to get into a dungeon run with a group of people around me, and right now it would take, for example, 4 flash shields for me to go from 10% health to 100. It took the same amount of flash shields in the beta as well. I'm not saying it actually did. I just can't remember what the actual number is, but whatever amount of healing it takes right now, like the number of casts, it was a similar number in the Warlords beta. So it feels the same, just the numbers look different.
Yeah.
Does that sort of make sense? Yeah.
And I think that makes a lot. I think it's better for the player experience, anyways. And this is something I mentioned in the last episode, and this is something I was talking with my roommates about who played vanilla BC Wrath, that kind of stuff, and they said, I remember the first time I hit for 10k, I crit for 10k, and I was like, oh, I'm the man.
Well, good, we got a badass over
here. Yeah,
right?
it did. I mean, if you were pulling 3,500 DPS in BC content, I mean, you were considered really good. So, the crits will mean more. The damage you put out, you're going to focus a lot more on those numbers now, and it's going to mean more instead of just seeing like, oh, I think that was, I don't know what that was. I think that was 1 million damage. I just white hit for maybe 200k. I just think that numbers
start to mean less the bigger they become. It's just our brains can't grasp the concept. The numbers are abstract.
But where that connects, it's important.
Where after the squish, everything will become a little bit more concrete and more easy to understand. And for me, I'm kind of getting that feeling of nostalgia. I like being all shiny and new and Wrath, and I don't know.
I think it makes sense though. I think with the bigger health pools, the smaller damage, you're focusing more on doing your damage, your crits, even though they're reducing the amount of crits you can do. So that's going to become important. Also, picking intelligent healers will now be important because
let's not pick any dumb ones.
But let's be honest. I mean, like, healing has become pretty simple over these last couple of expansions. Unless you're going to be doing heroic progressive raiding, a lot of that stuff is not super challenging as it used to be.
I mean, it depends on how well geared you are, obviously.
Of course. I mean, everything is scales accordingly.
I think what they're trying to do with all the healing changes that we're talking about tonight is basically, when the more gear you get now means that you can just heal so much more that Blizzard when they design the encounters, have to, include so much burst damage to have it be challenging for the healers.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to get away from.
Well, that kind of
Right.
moves. That kind of moves into the next point that we want to talk about,
Mhm.
which is the reduced throughput, the more triage, less powerful smart heals, weaker absorbs. You can have fewer spells to choose from, and a new focus on efficiency decisions.
Mhm.
Where does that come into play versus how rating is now versus what it will be, and with the changes that they're making, do you think it's going to benefit old players, new players? Like, what do you guys think?
First of all, if I look at all of these changes, I am instantly transported back into really, really early kata and the early, dungeon heroics. And I am really excited about these changes. I loved healing early kata. Having to sit down and drink after each trash pull in like I was a holy priest, and it's like I had a lot of fun. I felt like I accomplished something when I managed to, have everyone survive. It was impossible to keep people at 100% health like you did in Wrath. You now had to settle for maybe 25% health or 50% health, just as long as everyone was alive. That was fine, and I really enjoyed that kind of style of healing, which kind of quickly went away as the expansion progressed. But I think that's what they're aiming for here with these changes. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, likewise. Although your impression of Cataclysm leveling was different than my Cataclysm. For me, it was drink faster. We got more mobs to pull. We need to hurry up in level so we can start raiding. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
drinking. Give me an extra couple seconds
That's
here.
how it was for me too.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't go through a whole instance without completely blowing through my stack of water
Exactly.
every time. Right? I had to make sure I had a mage with me, or else.
Too slow. Get rid of him.
Exactly.
He's too slow.
Exactly. So, but I totally agree. I think the healing right now, it's not so much a question of skill; it's a measure of your reaction time. The boss just did 80% of everyone's health. How fast can you hit Halo, or how fast can you hit Trank to get everyone's health back up again? Right now,
Whack-a-mole.
right back to full, exactly. And I think the model that they're trying to go to now is okay. The boss just did a huge chunk of damage. Is everyone in danger of dying, or can I just heal them back up to 25%, 30%, half? Are they gonna die? So it's things like that which kind of make you think about about what you absolutely have to do now, or what can wait, and what's not a big deal until maybe 10 seconds later when the next big AoE ability hits.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see that they keep in a lot of personal defensive cooldowns into the game.
Right.
So maybe they're saying, okay, in terms of a PvE environment, you need to entrust that your own players, each individual player, will use their defensive cooldowns accordingly with the proper communication from the healer. So,
Exactly.
if they're gonna say, hey, if you're out and you're in range and you're out, out, maybe there's two people solo soaking certain mechanic of the fight, you need to use your own personal cooldowns because I can't get you. You need to wait. You know what I mean? And that's great. I think that's perfect. I think that's awesome. I think that's the way it should be. I don't think that there is enough accountability in the game as of right now for each individual player. I think a lot of the stress is put on the tanks and the healers, unless it's a heavy gear check DPS race, and there's not a lot of that in the game as much anymore. So I think this is a great change. I think it holds more people accountable, and I think it's one of those things that just needed to be done finally. So. Okay. I mean, there's a lot you can talk about specifically, whether you want to talk about like absorbs or the triage or the smart heals not being so smart anymore. Is there anything that you feel like is worth really mentioning here, that's really stuck out to you that you find to be the biggest change at all this?
Well, we can talk a little bit about absorbs because I'm not sure if you posted it before the Dev Water Cooler came out or after. I think it was before, but I'm not quite sure. But Blood Legion's Mistweaver Affinity took to the forums and made a really long post about what he thought about healing cooldowns, throughput cooldowns versus mitigation cooldowns, and basically he just feels like, especially come Warlords, and you have to cut down on your players for Mythic raiding, um, that progression raiders will choose the healers that have the mitigation cooldowns over the healers that have the throughput cooldowns,
Sure.
because mitigation is so much stronger. And basically what they're doing here is making absorbs weaker. So it feels like they kind of already countering his complaint there. And I think it's good. I mean, I feel like Disc Priests this expansion have been so strong. I mean, with Spirit Shell the way it was in the beginning, it was just ridiculously overpowered. And with each patch came nerf after nerf after nerf, and lo and behold, they are still like among the strongest out there.
Yeah, I feel like for the
due to
Warlock
the mechanics.
healers-
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, obviously, Disc Priests work. That's the mechanic that they work with, so they're gonna have to find a good solution for that. But I think it's a positive thing, because you just know, oh, there's a Disc Priest in here. Well, I'll go grab a cup of tea or something. It's like there's no point. All I do is overheal.
That's pretty much true.
So I think it's a good thing that they're lowering the absorption heals a little bit. It's give everyone a little bit more space to participate.
I think the smart heals thing is really interesting. How they're making it so it doesn't just pick the most injured person, but it's just randomly injured people. That's interesting. That's really, can you imagine the amount of hate that's gonna be coming out on that? Oh yeah.
I am right there with it. I don't like this change at all.
It's like, hey, stupid game. It's not what I want to do. You wait my raid. I hate Blizzard. I pay money for this game.
I should win all the time.
Oh man, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Especially, I mean, you guys know from a healer standpoint that if you do a quote unquote smart heal now, that it just injured random people, because a lot of times you're doing smart heals, it's because it's an AOE. It's a raid wide damage going out. You know, so it's like now you can't even. It's just like one of those things. Like, okay, first of all, A, it's gonna be random, and B, there's a good chance it's gonna have a pretty decent long cast time. So now what?
And knowing like Darwin's laws of raiding, it's going to pick the guy who does not actually need the heal.
Yeah, it's
And the guy who does need the heal is probably going to just fall over the next time the boss breathes.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
It's like
So, yeah, it's absolutely going to be frustrating for me, because I feel there's enough RNG in the game. Things like where boss abilities are going, what we have to interrupt, what we have to dispel. Now we're adding an extra stressor on the healers. We have to pick one of our most reliable spells, Prayer of Healing, or whatever AoE heal your class has. It is no longer as reliable. It's going to have a chance to heal one of the targets that you want to heal the most. It's never going to heal the most weakest target anymore. And that was one of the great things about it, because it was very dependable. You knew what you were getting. Now it's like, I'm just going to roll the dice and let's hope you win. If not, one of your raiders is going to die. And if that spell doesn't heal the correct player when you need it, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to have to follow up with like a flash of light or a pen or some other single target spell to account for the fact that your AoE heal missed. Okay, now multiply that over the course of several encounters or whatever, and it's going to get really aggravating really fast.
Right.
So and I guess the best way to kind of combat this is hopefully they provide us with enough regeneration where we have a bit more flexibility and a bit more leeway in terms of our spell usages and that sort of thing. You're right. So or it's just extra.
Get to proc them twice.
Right, yeah.
Like that,
Even,
at least that way you have a
decision
second chance. But what's interesting, because what they're trying to do is they want to make better use of multi-target heals and single-target heals. Like
absolutely.
This doesn't sound like this is going in the right direction, though. It sounds more like we want to make these better, but we're really forcing you to use single target heals. I mean, it's kind of like what I feel like they're doing, and it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out, what happens in the beta, and what makes it to live.
Actually, the one thing I kind of liked the most was back during, I want to say Burning Crusade, before the whole smart healing thing came out, the AoE heals were very reliable. They would always heal that group. So my prayer of healing would heal everyone in group 5 or group 3 exclusively,
Yeah.
regardless.
Right.
And I kind of, to be honest, I kind of miss that because I miss having that sense of reliability. I miss that responsibility. And as a raid leader, I could prearrange and rearrange all the people in the groups to really maximize it. So all the melee were in one area, all the range guys were in a different group, and I knew for a fact that when I used an AoE healing, all of them would benefit from that. So I kind of missed that. But
Prayer mending is now around the person you target, right?
It's also got a 1.5 second cast.
Ah.
Oh, life is gonna be good in Warlords, let me tell you.
Life's hard, man.
I think it's going to be fun, though. I like the challenge. But yeah, the smart heals, well, we'll see how that pans out.
But they have said that they have increased the mana regen.
They did, and I hope
have
it's
said that.
and I do hope it's high enough where my points are rendered moot. I would be very happy if that was wrong.
It's more like AoE burst damage goes out. It's more like try to blanket AoE heal, then single target heal where the person you didn't get it, and then maybe AoE heal again, and then hopefully you have enough regeneration where you're still sitting at like 50-60% mana at that point. And that looks like what they're trying to do. I mean, they want you to be scared to cast certain spells, and I think that's kind of fun in a way. Not for you guys, but
yeah, you're not healing, are you?
no.
Right.
I'm like, why didn't you heal me? Ah.
What the fuck, healer?
Yeah, well, I play a rogue, so I don't give a shit.
If I had like $1 for every time someone said "what the fuck, healer" to me, I'd be rich.
But I mean, I guess it's still a point that they said they have, they are going to increase the mana regen. They do want to force you into making decisions, and they want to make it a little less like cookie cutter. This is what you do in this situation. So I kind of like how they're making it a little bit more individualistic in terms of your raid makeup. So if you have more experienced players, people that know how to use their defensive cooldowns, or people who understand the encounter a little bit better, maybe it's going to be a little bit easier on your healers. Or maybe if your DPS doesn't know a lot about the raid mechanics, but the healers do, you're going to probably have a little bit harder time keeping those players alive. So that's kind of cool in that regard, I think.
Well, you're going to just have to be, as a healer, we are constantly just, at least in my raid team, it's just like, I have the control over all the health stones. Like, you don't use your health stone if I don't tell you to. It's just like, because if I know that I'm not going to be able to get someone, it's like, use your health stone, use your bubble, or like as a healer in my raid team, I not only have my own cooldowns, I have everyone else's cooldowns. They're all mine. I mean, obviously, I'm not a dictator. I'm just making it sound like that. But it's they do. I think they will be relying more heavily on individual responsibility when it comes to the cooldowns, and not standing in the fire. It's just like, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm rambling, but I'm just really excited about these changes.
Anything else you want to mention real quick before we switch over to instant cast heals? Any points? Once, twice, going sold. Instant cast heals. So here's something that's really interesting about what Blizzard's doing, because again, they've made it so they're making it a little bit more harder on you. Especially depending on what you play. I mean, I played it. I originally played the game at level to Holy Paladin, so I can understand a lot of the stuff from a Holy Paladin's perspective. Some of the things are changing, adding cast times. That really sucks. And you guys, I'm sure, are even more depressed than I am. So I guess you guys can vent a little bit here. Take it away.
You're just enjoying yourself.
I kind of am, yeah, man. I really am. I mean, they always hate on DPS. Like, I nerf this, and this ability's too strong, and now it's my time to
I
gloat.
just think like my main healing character at the moment is a monk. We this Layton expansion, we haven't had much love. We're not very strong, but I play it because I really enjoy it, so I stick with it anyway. But Uplift has now got a 1.5 second cast time. Are you kidding me? It's like not only do I need to keep renewing Mist on, as many people as possible, but I need to now plan my Uplift so it doesn't fall off before I have the chance to cast it. My goodness.
Look at Matt just sitting there all
That's
angry.
just another variable to consider, I guess, which, all in all, it's going to be difficult to adjust to, but yeah. I don't know.
I'm trying to contain my rage right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have
I can
nothing
see
nice to
that.
say.
But what do you feel about, the Halo and the Cascade?
I feel like these are all PvP changes.
A lot of it is.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, you're making these changes in PvP because these casters, these spells are quite strong in PvP, and it's translating to my PvE. Really, man? Like, it just makes me depressed, actually, but anything else. Not really angry, just kind of sad. Cascade, Divine Star, Halo. Okay, those are our level 90 talents for priests. I totally get that, all right? They're instant for Shadow, which is cool. Thank goodness, because my DPS would suck even more if they weren't the case. But it's like a lot of the stuff we would use on the move, going from point A to point B, dodging a meteor or moving out of a fire, whatever.
Yeah.
Now our tools haven't really been reduced per se. It just takes a bit more time to use them. The Prayer of Mending one just absolutely blows my mind. Like the 1.5 second cast time on it, I'm like, really? You're gonna make that a cast too? Like,
The Blizzard thing
Yeah, I
was they
feel
thought
for Prayer of Mending, they could have just removed, changed the glyph for it or something like that. It's just...
Well, Blizzard says the
or-
healers are too mobile.
Or maybe add like a bounce time. Like instead of bouncing off of you right away when I cast it on you, give it like a 2 second thing before it procs off and goes to some other player or something like that. I think maybe that would be even better. But it's just we have a pretty hard enough time, trying to move or cast. Now there's another decision we got to make. Do I want to stand there and eat the meteor, or get the spell out to you who needs it right now and take the damage myself? Like little things like that. So,
yeah, I guess, they did say that they wanted add some more, the whole,
Right.
I need to prioritize.
Right. So it's either I die or you die. Well,
And,
Yeah, that sounds great.
being a healer, you kind of have this compulsion to, if someone dies, it's a personal failure,
Yeah.
and but on the other hand, really, you should prioritize yourself, because if
Really.
you die, everyone dies. But
then you
so
get
it's
yelled
kind
at.
of a
Why
dilemma.
didn't you heal me?
Yeah.
Where's my heals?
Yeah,
Like,
DPS, I'm like, hey, why isn't this stupid healer healing me? I'm doing all the
Exactly,
damn
exactly.
damage here.
so I'm hoping the raid encounter dial gets moved back the other way, so there's less meteors and less fires for us to move out of.
They did
something.
state that they would adapt the raid encounters for
Yeah.
these changes. So I hope that they find a good balance for it. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, a lot. I mean, you guys know as much as I do that a lot changes from beta to live, and this is initially what they'd like to do. Doesn't necessarily mean it will stay that way, but if it does stay that way, you guys, I can give you some tips on rolling DPS if you want.
God.
I'll use my boost for a lock and switch that to my main.
Either that, or you're gonna
Yeah.
need some blood pressure medication.
Yeah. I bet that they're
Enjoy
gonna
raiding.
nerf locks to the ground just because you do that. Like half my guild has rolled locks now, and I was just
Warlocks
like,
are so good.
the
I love my
game
Warlocks.
changes, guys. That doesn't mean they're gonna be like this uber strong all the time. Stick with your mains. Stick with the characters you love. Don't go with flavor of the month.
It's just interesting. I think that overall, like, to kind of wrap things up, Blizzard is making some good changes. I think some of the changes that they're making are a little bit questionable. I don't think that a lot of things will make it to live. I think most things will make it to live. But the only way to really know for sure is to give it to the hands of the players. Let them test it out. Let them see how they react to it. And ultimately, it's a popularity contest, really, through Blizzard. If a lot of people end up saying that they don't like it or it's a negative experience for them. That is what Blizzard aims to not focus on, is a negative player experience. They always want to be the end user. It's all about the end user. It's all about the positive experience and keeping them coming back. So we'll see what happens and how many healers are actually going to be very vocal about this, and whether or not they're going to change it, keep it the same, or just maybe tweak it here and there. Maybe, all right, we'll make it a 1 second cast time, but it's not going to heal quite so much, or something like that, because they are very well known to do things like that from patch to patch. So, any final thoughts, guys? Anything you guys want to anything you want to wrap up with before I do all the other things I got to do?
Do all the things you gotta do.
Like eat more pizza.
Eat more pizza, yeah.
Very
get that blood
that.
sugar.
That's very important.
Those blood sugar levels up again.
Also,
My
I need to level
goodness.
my warlock some more. So.
Oh, he doesn't want to hang out with us.
I
He
do.
wants to go
I do.
play.
I'm addicted. Okay. That's the World of Warcraft that you play.
It's true. No, I just want to welcome Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the damn show.
And I hope you stay for next week.
Well, that's going to be up to you guys and the higher ups and the audience, the viewers. If you guys have anything you want to add or comments, questions, complaints, please send it to these guys.
Yeah.
Whatever direction you point
don't
to.
send it to Matt.
Don't send it to me.
Don't send it to him. Send it to Alex. Send all the complaints to Alex and send all the compliments to me. Okay?
Okay.
If you want to email us, of course, you guys know you can email us at edge@blizzpro.com. We'll be more than happy to answer emails, take suggestions, or if you use certain classes or specs or whatever that you want us to cover, we will certainly do that for you as well. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, edge_blizzpro.tv. You can see all of our Twitter handlers over there. It's Alex Merling, is at A Merling, Matt Lowe at Maticus, and then myself, Sean Clark, at Valise. So, guys, good show. Matt, welcome to the show. I'm going to end the show the same way I started the show. You guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever time it is where you are, because I know we got all of our time zones here. But until next week, guys,